Okay, so what we've done is centered this with the ball screw to get it lined up as best we can. We're going to tighten down we have to tighten this down before we can put the motor on. And then he's going to attach the motor and slide it on there. Okay, so what we've done is centered this with the ball screw to get it lined up as best we can. We're going to tighten down we have to tighten this down before we can put the motor on. And then he's going to attach the motor and slide it on there. Okay, so you just tighten this down kind of where it follows, and now he's gonna tighten down the jam nuts, and we're just gonna use the wrench and spin it and see how free it's gonna travel. That looks really good. So we've got it traveling smooth.
Spinning.
No. So it's time to move on to the next step. All right, so we got that done, and all right, the table's running really smooth. So X is done. We can move on to Y. Okay, so what we've done is just going to take the side with the bearing block on it. You're going to take that off and take out the gib, and then we'll be able to just slide the table back off of the machine. You can leave the motor mount and everything, and the motor on exactly where it is. So
if you want to take it out, you can take it off. It's going to be a little bit heavier.
Yeah, it's going to be a little heavier, but it'll make sure that everything stays aligned to where it was. So now, when we start on Y, okay, this is where the ball nut block has to bolt down. This is why we had to take the table back off. Plus, if we tried to put the X bolts in from underneath, the Y ball screw is in the way and it won't let you put those bolts in. So you have to put these bolts in before you can put the Y ball screw in there, or everything will be in the way. All right, so we have the Y ball screw with everything attached. It's going to go from underneath and just slide it through the front.
It is on.
And then we put the bearings on. And he's going to put one of the jam nuts on there just to get it tightened up. Just for now.
This will help be able to install it easier. That's all.
Okay, it's actually going to bolt down the Y assembly to the base, just to keep everything so the ball screw now is going to stay up and parallel, and you won't have to try to hold it up. That'll hold it up for you.
That's loose.
All right, so okay, so now we're going to move on. Now we're going to move on to, hang on. Okay, so we made this plate for the top, and when we were trying to line everything up, this hole lines up This one does, but then these didn't. So what happened was we ended up, by the time we could get it all lined up straight, everything was crooked. So because these holes, if you look, they're not lined up with anything at all. They're really off kilter. So what we decided to do is we're going to go ahead and drill and tap some holes instead, so we can get everything squared up and get it the way you want it to look. Okay, so here's the new plate. We've just got 2 slots in there. We're gonna set it, line things up, and drill and tap a couple holes for it. And then we'll also, because we put some slots in it so you can have a little bit of an adjustment. Okay, so we also modified this wrench. This is one of the wrenches that comes with the machine, so we figured why not. So we ground it up thin enough so that we could put a socket on the top one, and we could slide this in for the bottom one so we could torque down these jam nuts. And because the jam nuts are not metric, we ground this out a little bit wider so it would fit the nut that we have. We figured that would work pretty good, and you can use it for all of them, as a matter of fact. So